Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video I'm going to take you through the story circle, hero's journey or plot embryo of the mad Arch-Mage Zagyg. I've always liked Zagyg as a character, as he has very rich lore. Now, as always with my videos, I will take that lore and organise it into the story circle, to make sense of it all. At the end of this analysis we'll have a deeper insight into why Zagyg behaves the way he does and what exactly motivates him. I already have a few videos on the story circle, so I won't go into too much detail about it, but if you're interested, I'll link to them in the description. Anyway, let's begin. So we start in a zone of comfort. Zagyg was born to Despotrix Elaine Irigan. A Despotrix is a term for the matriarchal leaders of Hardy. Hardy is also known as the City of the Scorned in central Flannis. It was a place that was supposed to be ruled forever by women. Due to being born into nobility, Zagyg has a rather comfortable life. Nevertheless, he grows bored of comfort and wants to seek adventure. Now he desires something. Zagyg either joins or forms a company of 7 adventuring group. He hopes to escape his identity and make his mark by adventuring and acquiring knowledge. Next he enters an unfamiliar situation. On one of the company of 7 adventures, the group reaches the crypt of Zagyg the Mad, a lich. Now, this lich takes quite a shine to Zagyg, allowing him to stay for a while. Unlike the rest of the company of 7, Zagyg learns a heck of a lot from Zagyg and uses this newly learned knowledge to his advantage. He adapts to that situation. Zagyg makes his way to Greyhawk, where he wants to use what he has learned from Zagyg in a more political setting, and becomes Lord Mayor of the city. He's beginning to find some purpose in life. That need for adventure and knowledge is gnawing away at him. So he embarks on another adventure with the company of 7 to the lost Flan city of Verilos. Now, what he finds in Verilos will impact other lore, because among the treasures the company of 7 plunder is a tome of Zyx. Anyone who's watched my Tasha video will know how significant that find is. He gets what he wants. Zagyg returns to Greyhawk very rich and established. He thrives in his role as Lord Mayor and makes several reformations in the legal code, and is the founder of several colleges. He also creates the mining towns of Diamond Lake and Steaming Springs in Cairn Hills. Greyhawk was referred to as a gem of Flannis during this boom period. Also, it is at this time that he begins construction of Castle Greyhawk. Again, this is another pivotal piece of lore that affects other prominent characters in this setting. Castle Greyhawk is where he and Igwilf, or Tasha, summon and trap Fraz Urb'luu. If Zagyg had not built Castle Greyhawk, Igwilf or Tasha likely would not have learned how to summon and trap Grats and take control of Perrinland. Zagyg pays a heavy price. Zagyg has taken on too much, his responsibilities consume him, and he descends into madness. The citizens of his beloved Greyhawk fear him, and the city directors are losing faith. During an episode of Misjudgment, Zagyg brings a black dragon from Mistmarsh, homunculi, and a flesh golem into a city meeting with him, leaving the city directors dumbstruck. Zagyg returns to a familiar situation. Lysandred, Zagig's old lich mentor, learns about the trouble Zagyg is in. He too found himself in the past in a similar situation and warned that Zagyg needed to leave the material plane. If Zagyg did not go, he was putting the lives of everyone in Greyhawk at risk. Zagyg follows Lysandred's advice and sequesters himself away in Castle Greyhawk to conduct experiments while also taking time to explore other planes. Zagyg changes. Zagyg has finally worked out how to prevent his desire for knowledge from consuming him, and has successfully pulled himself back from the brink of insanity. He has captured 9 demigods and imprisoned them under Greyhawk Castle. He did this with an artifact called the God Trap. Zagyg created the God Trap to create more power and reach some form of divine rank. The captured 9 demigods include Iuz, who interestingly is the son of Igwilf, or Tasha, and Gratz. Over time, most of the demigods manage to escape. When Iuz escapes Castle Greyhawk, Zagyg has already ascended, and for some reason has decided to choose a different spelling for his name, replacing the I for a Y. He has got what he wanted and has acquired enough knowledge that no other mortal mage has achieved, apart from Vecna and of course Tasha. He is a fully fledged demigod in Bacob's service, Bacob being the god of magic, arcane, knowledge, balance and foresight. So what do we think of Zagyg? Looking at his story arc, we can see that his pursuit of knowledge came with a heavy price, in that he was close to losing his sanity. But overall, it seemed that he got what he wanted in the end. But why is that? I think that perhaps while Zagyg had a thirst of adventuring and learning, the driving force behind that wasn't a need to make himself more important than others. In my opinion, it came from a place of genuine curiosity. But what do you think? One question that does remain, though, is whether it will all be enough. Is there a risk of Zagyg regressing and driving himself to insanity again? Who knows? but I do think it is a possibility. I really enjoy this character, as his lore overlaps with so many other iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters. For example, Tasha, Fraz Urb'luu, and Ayuz. If you enjoyed this video, I've got plenty more on this theme, as I've also analysed the story arcs of Tasha, Strahd, Fraz Urb'luu, and Vecna. I'm building up quite a collection of these deep dive lore videos now, but I'm always on the lookout for more iconic characters to analyse. So if any spring to mind, please do let me know. Anyway, that's all for today, folks, and I'll see you in the next one.